allegedly, now this has been on all the news.
I like that.
Allegedly, all the news outlets are reporting that Biden himself is choosing to hold back on sending weapons over to Israel out of concern for how they're going to handle them in Rafah.
Yeah. So apparently,
again, allegedly, we don't really know, because again,
we ain't no benevolent ass country.
Yeah, we're not. Yeah, this ain't no benevolent ass country. But let's be clear here. Student protests, civil unrest, these things have worked in the past. So we don't know how much these college campus protests are affecting it. We do know that he did make a statement when they asked him about the protests. He gave a very stern, when asked, do these protests, will they affect how you handle going forward the Israel conflict? He gave a very stern no. Not
at all.
He said no. So that was a weird no, because I think, I'm not going to go on a tangent, but I'm just going to say that was a weird no. So we don't know why.
Yeah. Okay, a little context, y'all. So we know that there was an arms pause. A single shipment apparently is not being sent over, and it's estimated to be 3,000 what they call heavy bombs. So these are the bombs that could absolutely do the most damage. So we should point out that we haven't stopped any shipment. Matter of fact, there have been shipments that we didn't know about that came out after the fact, and come to find out he was sending them over using an executive order, right? Without the okay of Congress. So one shipment probably will not hurt Israel. But why it's so important right now is because of what's happening in Gaza. So you have Palestinians now being told that they need to leave eastern Rafah, which is the most southern part of the Gaza Strip. So if you look at the entire strip, you had, I think it was 1.2 million Palestinians taking shelter there because they were told that that's where they were the most safe. Now, we know that's not true, because Rafah has been absolutely bombarded by airstrikes for weeks on end now. Thousands of people have been killed in Rafah. So they were told recently, hey, you need to leave eastern Rafah and go to a humanitarian area, because we're about to
they dropped leaflets. They dropped leaflets,
and then they were saying they sent text messages to folks who still had cell service. So they're dropping leaflets. They're making announcements. If you still have a signal, you're getting text messages from the IDF telling them that you need to leave. It's being reported by the UN that 50,000 Palestinians have already fled in the last 48 hours because of this. The ground operation has officially begun. So, number one, we stopped the shipment, right? This one single shipment, and it's not even a stop, it's a pause, is what the Biden administration is calling it. The second thing that I do want to point out is that the Biden administration was supposed to give a report to Congress today. Today was the deadline. The Biden administration came out and said, we're going to be a little late. The report was supposed to look into and investigate whether or not Israel was using U.S. supplied weapons and military equipment to commit genocide and to break international humanitarian law. I think everyone in this room can say with unequivocal yes.
Yes.
But so that's the other thing. So this pause, in my opinion, and then I'm gonna pass it back to GS, is not because we are actually concerned. This pause is political because of the protests, because those of us who are refusing to spend our money in certain ways, because Biden knows that he is losing the base, that the Democrats every year, every 4 years, every 2 years will absolutely depend on because of his action around this war. I think it is solely a political move. I don't think they give a damn about whether or not these heavy bombs are being used to snuff out Palestinian lives, because they didn't care before.
We're already
at almost 40,000 lives lost.
I think this is interesting because when I think about Biden being a Democrat or on the left, not a leftist, not far left, but just considered left, it's like you are legitimately aligning yourself with a right-wing government. Like this is this is what happens when you have a right-wing leader.
Mm-hmm.
They have ideas about the progress of their people, and usually right-wing people usually believe that death, destruction, getting rid of an entire group, displacing a group, moving a group out, or stopping a group from coming in. It's like, that's like right-wing like playbook. And it's like, y'all are aligning yourselves with them. But also it goes to show that the AIPACs are okay with aligning themselves with either side, because I want to say, I saw a post, and I don't know how true this is, but it was like all 17 of whoever, it was like 17 there were 17 people who were running for office. I'm not sure exactly what level or how far it was, but they all were like AIPAC backed, and they all won. So allegedly.
Oh yeah, they're calling it the war chest. Like, they're pulling out money from the war chest to like make sure that the next election is pretty much bought and paid for.
It's just one of those things where it's like, it's the fact that this is coming out of American dollars, and it's like the people who we would expect. This is how we know that the ideology is bullshit. Like, we literally, number one, quote unquote left-leaning government supporting a right-leaning government, and then we're watching these protests in which these legitimate white kids, very white students, Republican-leaning white students, Republican figures for sure, leaning more towards helping Israel. And it's like, y'all are the ones who are for like America being for Americans. Like, if we think about if this was like, quote unquote, the Taliban who's been paying all of these Congress people, if we were thinking about one of these groups that we don't care for, if these people were paying, these governmental entities paying or determining who wins because of all the money they're pumping in. It's just like, how do y'all not see that? Like, how do y'all reconcile that? Like, to be quote unquote so super American, yet there's this entire government entity putting money into like our system. So it's like, it was funny because I was scrolling and I was looking at like TikTok stuff, and then it was like, it just snaps at me again. It was like one of those contradictory things. It's like our government is painting TikTok as dangerous, as bad for our youth. Yet we're literally giving money to a institution that's actually killing people. But no, TikTok is dangerous, and we need to sell that. They need to sell that to us. But we're giving money to a group that's killing innocent people. Yeah. There's no doubt that these people who are dying are innocent, because some of them aren't even from that place. Like, they've attacked journalists. They've attacked people who were just coming there to come with aid, and they were from like fucking Canada, all kinds of places. Like, they're killing innocent people, but TikTok is dangerous.
I was having a conversation just before I even got here about how we tend to shift like the thing that we should be focusing on. We shift our attention from the thing we should be focusing on to like just some random shit that the government like pulls out of its ass to have us focus on that week. So TikTok, in my opinion, is one of them. But then like we were talking about a friend of mine actually who has stage 4, and she's not even 40 yet. Not even 40. And I remember thinking like, of all of the things we could be doing with our time and effort and money in this country, including making it so that we eat actual food, and so that we don't breathe toxins all day, and so that our stress levels are not so high, so that people who are not even 40 are not developing stage 4 cancer.
That's insane.
Instead, we want to ban TikTok and fund the leveling of the little strip of land that brown people over in the Middle East had. Like, it's fucking insane to me.
It's yeah. So yeah, y'all, we don't know why Biden is why they're pausing this. We don't know why they're pausing it, but I'll say this: everybody keep working. I saw some more encampments pop up on some of the universities. I'm happy to see those. Everybody who's still fighting, everybody who's still talking about this, everybody who's still mentioning on their podcast, dropping information in TikTok. Shout out to the people who are on the ground, the people who are actually dealing with that shit firsthand.